Hello students, welcome to English Literature class. This is part 6 of Act 3, Scene 2, The Merchant of Venice. In the previous video, we saw how Lorenzo, Celerio and Jessica made an entrance, how Celerio hands over a letter from Antonio and Celerio gives a very grim picture of Antonio, how Shylock is bent on exacting a pound of flesh. How many people tried to convince him, change his mind, not to ask for a pound of flesh. And Jessica gives an information, reveals a truth about her father that she had heard him telling his fellow Jewish people like Tubal and Cas how he preferred to have Antonio's flesh rather than 20 times the sum of the principal amount, that is 3,000 decades. Then Portia asks whether it was Bassanio's friend who was in trouble, because earlier she had noticed while Bassanio was reading the letter, he was becoming paler and paler. She demands to know what the contents of the what the content of the letter was, because she was half of him and she wanted to share everything with him. And Bassanio had revealed how he had bound his dearest friend to his worst enemy to feed, to get the money he needed to come and woo Portia. And when Portia asked him about that friend who was in trouble, Bassanio gives a very good picture. He pays him a great compliment by telling that he was the kindest man, a good-natured man who was untiring in doing acts of kindness to others. Let us find out what happens next. Children, I'm in page number 100. Please take your textbook, pencil, keep it ready. Whenever you have it out, please jot down, write the meanings. Shall we start, children? I'm in line 301. What sum owes he, the Jew? Now, Portia wants to know how much Antonio owes to the Jew, that is Shylock, how much he has to repay. What is the amount of loan that he has taken from Shylock? Bassanio tells, for me, 3,000 ducats. He tells that on his behalf, Antonio had taken a loan of 3,000 ducats. Portia, what? No more. She's wonderstruck. What is this? Just 3,000 ducats. For her, it's a very insignificant amount. We already know she is so rich. So what is her solution? Let us find out. Pay him 6,000 and deface the bond. She tells him, that's all. It's just 3,000 ducats. Okay then, pay him 6,000. Double the bond amount and deface the bond. Deface the bond, cancel the bond. If he is not happy with that much, double 6,000. Give him double of 6,000. That means 12,000. And if Shylock doesn't agree even to that, then treble that. She multiplied that by 3. So double 6,000 means 12,000. 3 times 12,000 is 36,000 ducats. Before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault, she is ready to pay any amount of money to Bassanio so that he can go and free Antonio from the clutches of Shylock. She doesn't want anybody to suffer because of Bassanio's fault. He should see that, she wants to see that no one suffers, even a strand of hair. That too, Antonio, who has been given such a glorious description, shall lose a strand of hair because of Bassanio's fault. But before that, first go with me to church and call me wife. But what does she tell now? Before he goes to Venice to save his friend, what does she appeal to Bassanio? First come to the church and call me wife. Call me wife marry me, make me your wife, have a marriage ceremony performed, and then away to Venice to your friend, and then set sail to Venice to your friend. See, she's going to be newly married, but she's such a good woman. She's ready to send her husband immediately after the marriage ceremony, because she realizes that Bassanio can never be happy if his friend is in trouble. Then away to Venice to your friend, for never shall you lie by Portia's side with an unquiet soul. Because she knows that Bassanio cannot lie by her side with a distracted mind, with an unquiet soul. So she knows even if she makes him to stay, she cannot lead a happy life with him, because his mind will be uh, distracted. So she tells, you shall have, and she also promises him, you shall have gold to pay the petty debt 20 times over. She knows that, okay, that Shylock might bargain. She anticipates all this. He might reject this offer, but she tries to Bassanio feel better by telling that she will give as much as gold required. How much? Even to pay 20 times over the principal amount, to pay the petty debt 20 times over. Petty for her, this small 3,000 decades, okay, is a very insignificant amount. It's a trifle for her. She is ready to pay even 20 times the money to free Antonio. My maid Nerissa and myself, meantime, will live as maids and widows. She tells that once Bassanio and Gratiano are gone, how will she lead her life until they return? She tells that they both, Portia and Nerissa, will live as maids. Maids means unmarried women or spinsters, just like it is bachelors for men. So they will live like spinsters and widows. Widows means those who don't have husbands. So we will lead our life like that. Come away. Where? To where? For you shall hence upon your wedding day. Because he knows that. Make it quick. Because you have to go away from here. From shall hence means you must go away from here immediately. So be quick on the same day as our wedding. Bid your friends welcome. Welcome your friends. Show a merry cheer. Be cheerful. She is, because now, and Bassanio is disheartened because he is worried what will happen to Antonio. Though he has won Portia, but still he is not happy, because the moment he was happy, he got the news that Antonio was in trouble, because he got the news from Scenario how Shylock was bent on taking a pound of flesh from Antonio, because he had not returned the money within 3 months. So according to the terms of the bond, Shylock could take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body once the scheduled date had was over. So bid your friends welcome. Show a merry cheer. She now, because it's a marriage day, she wants him to be cheerful. Since you're dear bought, I will love you dear. But let me hear the letter of your friend. She tells him she will love him dearly since you're dear bought. What is the meaning of that? Portia means to tell Bassanio that his friend Antonio has paid for him very dearly, very expensively by making a sacrifice. If it were not for Antonio, Bassanio would not have been able to come to Belmont and win Portia. So she will love him dearly and value him most highly, since such a price has been paid that she might wedding. So she also, before going to the church, she tells Bassanio to read to her the letter of his friend. Let us find out the contents of the letter. So Bassanio reads the letter. Sweet Bassanio, my ships have miscarried. My creditors grow cruel. My estate is very low. My bond to the Jew is forfeit, and since in paying it, it is impossible I should live. All debts are cleared between you and I, if I might but see you at my death. Notwithstanding, use your pleasure. If your love do not persuade you to come, let not my letter. So, see what how has Antonio addressed Bassanio, sweet Bassanio, in spite of his difficulty. See how nicely he has addressed Bassanio, the two sweet Bassanio. And he comes to the point directly. My ships have all miscarried. All his ships have been lost. My creditors grow cruel. Creditors, he has borrowed money from others also. So he's telling that they are becoming very cruel. They have become very cruel. They all want their money back. They are pestering him to return his money, but he cannot return the money as quickly as possible because my estate is very low. His means, his sources are at a very low ebb, so he doesn't have the necessary resource to repay his creditors. My bond to the Jew is forfeit. He tells that the bond that he had signed with Shylock has been forfeited. So, and since in paying it, it is impossible I should live, all debts are cleared between you and I. So, what is he telling? So, according to the terms of the bond, if he fails to repay the money, what can Shylock do? He can take a pound of flesh from his body, whichever part of the body which pleases Shylock. So he knows that if a pound of flesh is taken from his body, he may not be able to live. He might die of excessive bleeding. So since in paying it, by paying the penalty, if he pays the penalty, he realizes that it is impossible to live. So he tells Bassanio that all debts are cleared between you and I. Whatever is between. Even if Bassanio owes anything to Antonio, Antonio makes it very clear that there are no debts between Antonio and Bassanio. Everything is cancelled. Bassanio doesn't owe anything to Antonio. And if I might but see you at my death. So what is Antonio trying? So for him, money doesn't matter at all. Even if he loses his life also, it doesn't matter to him. What matters? He just wants to see Antonio just once before his death. But he's not compelling him. Notwithstanding, use your pleasure, use your discretion. If your love do not persuade you to come, let not my letter. This letter should not force Bassanio to come and see Antonio. It is a love that Bassanio bears to Antonio that should make him come to Antonio and not the request. And Antonio also tells him, pay no attention to my letter. Line 327, he makes it very clear. It is the love that should bring Bassanio to see Antonio and not the letter. Portia. See, Antonio is very clear. He doesn't want Bassanio to be forced to come and see him. Only his love should make him to come and see him. He doesn't mind losing his life, except that he wants to see Bassanio before his death. He makes it very clear that Bassanio doesn't owe him anything, that everything is cancelled. Portia, on hearing this, oh love, dispatch all business and be gone. Finish all business and be gone. Immediately go to Venice. Bassanio, since I have your good leave to go away, I will make haste. So he makes it clear to her, yes, since I have your permission to go away, because which wife immediately after getting married will send her husband away? But since he has got the permission from her to go away, I will make haste. I'll be very quick. But till I come again, no bed shall ever be guilty of my stay, nor rest be interposer between us twain. So he tells her, but come to line meaning 331, 32 on page number 101. He makes it very clear. I shall not go to bed. I shall not even rest. And I shall not go to bed and not even rest. Shall keep me separated from you. That is, I shall not rest. Interposer, one which comes between. Twain, two. What is he telling her? That he will neither sleep nor take rest until he comes. Nothing will come between the two of them. Children, we come to the end of Act 3, Scene 2, one of the biggest scenes in The Merchant of Venice. This scene concludes the casket story. So, what is the importance of this scene? So, Bassanio wins Portia, and we get to know more about Portia, what a loyal daughter she is, what a witty lady she is. How, when he uses the rack, to tell how he is tortured by uncertainty, how she uses the metaphor of a rack to test his love for her. And we also know how generous she is, how much she loves Bassanio, how generous she is, ready to pay any amount of money to free Antonio, how much she is loves Bassanio, that she is willing to send him immediately after the marriage. She understands what true love is between friends, that she is ready to send him. And we also come to know more about Bassanio. Initially, we thought that he was very mercenary. He had a mercenary motive in marrying Portia. But what do we see in this scene? He has matured into a good person. He does not trust in appearance. He knows, we come to know that he now truly loves Portia for her beauty and her worth. And what else do we learn? Why is this scene important? This is the dramatic center of the play. It completes the cascade story, and also it introduces the ring story, and it also connects us to the bond story. How the bond story is revealed through Antonio's letter and Bassanio's return to Venice for the trial. And one of the themes of the play, that is appearance versus reality, is presented in this scene. Children, I hope you have understood this scene. Please go back to the textbook, see all the videos once again. If you have any doubts, please jot down, and I shall clarify your doubt when we meet. And now I would like to start Act 3, Scene 3. This is in page number 101. What is given? The gist of this scene. This brief scene with Antonio in custody serves to make more vivid the audience's impression of Antonio's predicament. Antonio tries to placate Shylock so that the Jew may change his attitude. But Shylock is delighted at seeing his enemy helpless and insists that he wants nothing less than the bond. Antonio can do nothing except to pray for the arrival of Bassanio to bid him a last farewell. Children, I hope you have the textbook, page number 101. Scene 3. Where does this scene take place? Venice, a street. Who are the people present? Enter Shylock, Salarino, Antonio, and the jailer. Shylock. Please notice the spelling of jailer, children. It is an old usage spelling, G-A-O-L-E-R. The modern spelling, J-A-I-L-E-R. So where are they? See, now we already know that he is in prison. But somehow Shylock has earned such a good reputation that the jailer is ready to bring him out of jail to meet Shylock in a street in Venice. Jailer, Shylock, jailer, look to him, look after him. Tell me not of mercy. Maybe the jailer is appealing to Shylock to show him mercy. This is the fool that lent out money gratis. Jailer, look to him. This is the man. Keep that you have in your charge. Do not allow him to escape. Look after him, because this is the same fool who lent money free of interest. So look after him. Antonio, hear me yet, good Shylock. See, Antonio earlier when he treated Shylock, if you remember Act 1, Scene 3, he called him the choicest words, like he was a cur, all those things. Cutthroat, dog, all those things. But now he's still calling him good Shylock, because he has some work with Shylock. He wants Shylock to change his mind so that he doesn't insist on the penalty. So he is appealing to him. Hear me yet. Why don't you listen to me? Shylock, I will have my bond. What is the bond here? Yes, according to the terms of the bond, since you have forfeited, I will have your pound of flesh. Beware my fangs. Speak not against my bond. Don't speak anything. Don't argue anything against the bond. Don't argue against my having my bond. I have sworn an oath that I will have my bond. Nobody can change my mind. Why? Because I have sworn, taken an oath that I shall have my bond, that I will have a pound of flesh. Thou calls me a dog before thou hadst a cause, but since I am a dog, beware my fangs. Please remember how in Act 1, Scene 3, sorry, Act 1, Scene 3, and also in Act 3, Scene 1, we come to know how Antonio had insulted, humiliated Shylock without having a cause. But now Shylock is telling, earlier you have called me a dog. You called me a dog before you had a cause. Without any reason to do, you have called me a dog. But anyway, since I am a dog, since you have always called me a dog, so beware my fangs. Fangs means teeth. What are dogs known for? Biting. Since you have called me a dog, beware of my fangs. Be careful, otherwise I will bite. The Duke shall grant me justice. He is fully assured. He thinks that the Duke will grant him justice. He has faith in the legal system. He has faith in the Duke that he will grant him justice. I do wonder, thou naughty jailer, that thou art so fond to come abroad with him at his request. Now he has an issue with the jailer. How could he risk bringing Antonio out of jail? So he calls him a naughty jailer. A naughty jailer, good for nothing. He was so foolish enough to come out of the prison to bring Antonio outside the jail at his request. So how could he do that? He questions the jailer here. What does this tell about Antonio? He's such a popular figure that even the jailer listens to him. The jailer trusts him enough to bring him out, and also that he will not escape. So Shylock doesn't like this. Antonio, I pray thee, hear me speak. He's being very humble. Earlier, he was so arrogant. He told that he would continue to insult Shylock even if he gave the money. That's what he had said earlier. But now he's begging, pleading with Shylock to listen to him. I pray thee, request you, please listen to me, Shylock. I will have my bond. I will not hear thee speak. He tells, I will have nothing to do with you. I am not going to hear you anymore. I just want my bond, and therefore speak no more. Don't speak of anything else. And he tells, I will not be made a soft and dull-eyed fool to shake the head, relent and sigh and yield to Christian intercessors. Follow not. I will have no speaking. I will have my bond. So what is Shylock telling here? Nobody can convince me. Nobody can make me change my mind. A sob story will not change him. So even if you tell anything, he will not become soft. He will not become stupid enough to show pity. I will not be made soft and dull-eyed fool. Fool means dull-eyed means stupid. He will not be made to look like a stupid person, to shake his head, to agree, to relent and sigh, to listen to them with pity and feel sorry for these Christian intercessors. What do you mean by Christian intercessors? Pleaders. So he will not be made a soft fool with eyes dimmed with tears, to shake his head and feel sorry, giving away to the Christians who plead with him. He will not listen anymore. He will not feel sorry for anybody who plead with him. He will not be made to look like a fool. I will have no speaking. I will have my bond. He makes it very clear. The only thing he's interested is in the bond, that is having a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Saying this, Shylock exits from the scene. Now Salarino is really disappointed. He's also angry. Why? It is the most impenetrable cur that ever kept with men. Impenetrable cur, children. Go to line meaning 19. A hard-hearted dog. He calls Shylock a hard-hearted dog that ever lived among men. One with whom we cannot reason with. He's angry that they were not able to convince Shylock to change his mind. Let us see Antonio's reaction. Let him alone. Forget about him. I will follow him no more with bootless prayers. He realizes it's futile, it's vain. We are appealing to Shylock to show mercy. And he tells that he will not appeal to Shylock anymore because it is useless. Bootless is useless. He seeks my life. Now he has realized that money is not important to Shylock. Revenge is more important to Shylock. And he knows that Shylock he's after his life. He seeks my life, he's after my life. His reason, well, I know he also knows the reason, understands the reason why Shylock is after his life. He gives the reason in the next lines. His reasons well I know. I oft delivered from his forfeitures, many that have at times made moan to me. So, why is Shylock angry with Antonio? Because many a times Antonio had delivered, rescued from his forfeitures, from penalties for non-payment. Many that have at times made moan to me. Many people who had borrowed money from Shylock, when they couldn't pay the penalty for non-payment, then they had appealed to Antonio. At times, they had at sometimes come to Antonio and made moan, appealed to Antonio to rescue them from the clutches of cruel Shylock. Therefore, he hates me. So that's why Shylock hates Antonio, because many times he had rescued many people from the clutches of Shylock. When they were not able to repay money to Shylock, Antonio had helped them to repay money. So now if Antonio is not there in the scene, he can make as much as money. Salarino, I'm sure the Duke will never grant this forfeiture to hold. Salarino is very confident because Antonio is such a respected man, a reputed man in Venice, that the Duke will never allow this penalty to be enforced. But Antonio disagrees. He tells the Duke cannot deny the course of law, for the commodity that strangers have with us in Venice, if it be denied, will impeach the justice of this state, since that the trade and profit of the city consists of all nations. Therefore, go. But Antonio knows the reality that even the Duke cannot help him in this matter. The Duke cannot refuse to let the law take its course. Why? Because for the commodity that the strangers have with us in Venice, if it be denied, will much impeach the justice of the state. So come to lines the 30 to 33 on page number 103, children, meaning the rights. Why can't the Duke help him? Because the rights, the commodity which the foreigners or the strangers have among us in Venice cannot be refused. If they are refused, denied, if the rights of the strangers are refused, it will be an accusation, impeached against the Venetian justice, since the trade and prosperity of the city depends on international trade. So Antonio points out that the Duke cannot refuse to refuse to let the law take its own course. The rights and privileges of trade that foreigners have in Venice cannot be refused. If they refuse to allow Shylock the privileges that they have been granted in Venice to foreigners, they will expose the justice of the state to reproach. In this way, Antonio points out that his hope is in vain. The prosperity of the city of Venice depends upon its trade with foreign nations. If any injustice is done to Shylock, a foreigner, other foreigners belonging to all nations who have built up its profitable trade will take alarm and raise objections. They will have no more confidence in the just and impartial administration of law in Venice and will have no more dealing with Venice. Consequently, trade will suffer. So Antonio is certain that Shylock's case is strong and the Duke cannot change the law to favor Antonio. Therefore, go. He tells Salarino to go. And he also tells, these griefs and losses have so baited me that I shall hardly spare a pound of flesh tomorrow to my bloody creditor. Well, jailer, on. Pray God, Bassanio, come to see me, pay his debt, and then I care not. Now, Antonio remarks that, okay, because of all the troubles, anxiety, and tension, he has reduced so much. His body is reduced greatly because of his anxieties and troubles. He remarks that he will hardly have a pound of flesh left upon him by the next day, on the day of the trial, to pay the forfeit to Shylock, to his bloody creditor. Well, jailer, on. So he tells the jailer, you better take me back to jail. Pray God, Bassanio, come to see me pay his debt, and then I care not. The only wish, even at this point, he only wishes that Bassanio is there to see him pay his debt with his life, and he doesn't care any more. So he doesn't mind losing his life. The only thing is he wants Bassanio to watch him die paying his debt, and it doesn't matter. So what do we learn from this scene, children? What does this reveal about Shylock? That he is determined to see that Antonio is dead, and he's not afraid of anybody. His stubborn, unrelenting nature is revealed in this story. What does in this scene? Sorry. And what else is revealed about Antonio here? That again, his melancholic nature is revealed here, and he is resigned to his fate. He doesn't question anymore. He accepts whatever is going to happen. And this scene is also, and what is the importance of this scene, children? This scene is important because it brings the action nearer to the trial scene. It adds suspense to the Bond story, as it shows that it is impossible for Antonio to escape death. This scene also fills the interval before the trial scene and allows time for Bassanio's journey from Belmont to Venice. I hope you have understood, children. If you have any doubts, please jot down and I will clarify when I meet you all. Please complete your workbook notes. Go through all the videos once again. Wherever you have a doubt, please keep revising, watching those videos. See you in the next class.